What's going on, everybody? This is Alex Montevosian at Prophecy Digital here with Adam Dominici, our creative director. This is episode 8. We're going to talk about our creative process and the prophecy difference that is with that creative process. Before I begin, I probably a brief introduction to this man, Adam Dominici, who's been really 100% of our creative mindset and all of the output that comes out from our company as an agency. He's been with us almost from the beginning, is an extremely talented individual. I'm very lucky to have him on the team. And we're going to kind of walk you guys through what makes our our platform very unique and very different. But before I do that, Adam, maybe a little intro to the audience since it's first time on one of these things, and just kind of explain what the hell it is that makes you tick.
What makes me tick?
Yeah.
I don't know what makes me tick, but I think what makes me a good creative director is I have experience in a lot of touch points in the industry, starting as more of a writer and director, then graphic designer, photographer, and then doing full scale large video productions to smaller budget run and gun productions, and kind of having the knowledge of what goes into each element of creation. It really helps to make the most of a budget and your time. I think the most valuable thing a creative director can do is when they're conceptualizing an idea or taking in other people's ideas is to take that information and take that idea and know how to execute it and make the most of the limitations of that thing. So if you only got 2 weeks to do it and 10 grand to film something, like how do I take that time frame and that budget and make it look like a 6-figure commercial and get a ton of deliverables out of it?
Yeah, I think value engineering. I think it's just legitimately value engineering. I know my wife's industry in architecture and design. They call it that all the time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something more specific, because your creative talents, and a lot of people haven't been exposed to what it is we do creatively, and we're going to do a better job of sharing that and kind of being an open book on how we process and do things. But let's take 90% of our business is in automotive, right? And so automotive retail has got a lot of guidelines and restrictions and integrity that needs to be held in a lot of the content. Some would find that to be limiting. I'd be curious to get your opinions on that. But like B-roll, as an example, as us as a company, how did that mindset evolve? That obviously when you look at our model B-roll, it's edited, it's done in a very unique way, and it looks very, I'd say, prophecy-esque. But walk me through that process of just specific to B-roll and how we tackled that problem so that we could deliver uniqueness to our clients.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're only as good as the assets you're given. So I think that B-roll or roller footage that the OEMs are providing, the better the footage they provide, the better the outcome is going to be. And you can only polish a turd so much. So if the footage isn't great, there's only so much you can do. But that's okay on those instances where the footage isn't that great. You don't invest that much time in it. Like I'm not going to sit there and spend 5 hours trying to edit an edit of something where the footage isn't that great, because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So right. We can still check that box and deliver that model edit. Yeah. But it's not a great investment of our time to like knock it out of the park. But if we have like rad footage that is awesome commercial level footage, then it's worth investing the time to do something special and unique, and then excite the clients about it. But as far as how we came about, like our approach to it, I think the traditional way of using the OEM roller footage is like, let's find the cheapest song we could possibly find. Let's make this as quick as we possibly can. There's like 3 cuts in a 15-second ad where it's just like cut, logo animation. And to call that editing is nonsense. Like anybody can do that.
Love that.
So I think what we did to make ourselves stand out is we focus on first the music, getting really cool commercial level music, quality sounding stuff that people actually want to hear, and then creating a library of music that's specific to each brand. So a song you're going to choose for Audi or Lexus or Cadillac is going to be different than a song you're going to choose for Honda, Toyota, a Subaru, And so I think being
Yeah.
conscious of that, being conscious of who your end customer is, and that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, is having that holistic idea of what all your limitations are. So each model, you're going to first assess how good's the footage, what's the best song for it, who's the end customer, and then try to cater your song and editing style to that.
Yep. It's a very specific approach that we take, because it's all like our entire platform is developed around demographics, audience, and just all like we're in every channel, so you can get an understanding of just about everything. I think the important key points that you just made was that we're creating edits that align with the brand's demographic and the target audience for that specific model. I don't think enough agencies take enough time to do it. And sound and editing, when it's done perfectly together, it's almost like a really good drum beat. And it just plays so well together. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, even for me. I'm very proud of what we produce, very proud of what you produce. But that one to me is the biggest thing, where we've done editing from a B-roll perspective, because there might be some people who are interested in hearing which OEMs bring the fire when it comes to B-roll, and which ones, and maybe we don't need to call them out specifically. So let's just say which ones have the best B-roll from your perspective, from an editing standpoint.
Well, I think a large portion of our business is Cadillac stores, and a lot of the footage they provide is very easy to work with. And then a random one you might not think would be Subaru. Subaru has some really nice footage and is very easy to work with. And it's not just the quality of the footage, but it's the way it's shot. A lot of times with some OEMs, they'll deliver B-roll for you or roller footage, and it's just one shot. The camera doesn't move, the car's in the same position, and it just runs for 2 minutes. It's pretty limiting to what you can do with that. But the OEMs that are taking a more commercial approach, where you're getting a wide, a tight, a medium shot, and doing dynamic camera movements with cars driving in, out of frame, that's what helps you get those cut points.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
We're doing, 15-second edits. The last 3 seconds is logo and customer information, website, branding. The first 4 seconds of our model edits is the offer. So that offer, there's only so much you can do. It's just about the framing, right? Like, make sure the car looks good and the text looks good around it. So you're really talking about between 4 and 12 seconds. So your limitations are, what can you do in 8 seconds that's going to make someone actually watch this thing and not just scroll right past it?
Yeah.
And that's where
putting that offer within the first 4 seconds was a solution to that. Obviously, there's 6 seconds and skippable, and in Facebook media, you've got 3 seconds to capture attention. TikTok's roughly about the same. So to have all that in there is really good. The B-roll, I think we've got pegged down. I'm with you. Cadillac and Subaru's assets are pretty good. I've seen some other ones that are there, but we're very fortunate to have the B-roll that we have to work with on the Cadillac side with certainty. The other thing that I think a lot of people don't understand about this company is that we do all of the video work, and it's included. The studio work, which we'll talk about on another segment, is different, right? Where we're physically coming, filming, studio, we've got talent. We offer that, and we do that, and that's how we
overlap in that Venn diagram, like our fixed ops.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I want to talk about next, which is like our content model is essentially, and this is what we believe, and this is an important distinction to make. We believe that content is something that is an agency's responsibility. It is our responsibility to create content that people watch, click on, and view, and do whatever else that we need them to do in order to engage with your brand or whatever it is that we're trying to sell for you. We don't charge that burden of production to you. Specific example was Adam's thought processes on one of the skits that we just recently did, which was it was the Mac vs. PC. So if anyone's remembering this is like going back to the Justin Long days, where he was a representative of Mac, and you'd see those commercials, and we thought it was a cool idea. But I'm gonna let you explain that. That came up, and I'm just giving everyone context of like why it came up, because we're as an agency, we're in every funnel, and so we need content that goes out from awareness all the way down to urgency where people are looking to make a decision. So it's what made
Right.
you want to go down that route of Mac versus PC and to create content like this? Because it's very unique in the automotive space that we're able to do this and not pass that
Yeah.
on to clients.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of reasons. And a lot of it comes back to that making the most of your limitations concept. So the first limitation is like we represent how many different brands, like every brand in automotive we have a touch point with. So if we're going to invest our time and money into a production, it's got to deliver for every brand. It can't, otherwise it doesn't make sense economically for us, because we're not charging our clients for that. So coming up with a concept that can be white labeled and can be used for everybody from Cadillac to Honda and in between. That's the first challenge of the idea. And the Mac versus PC is a very kind of like loose inspiration. It's really that juxtaposition of like what you're used to versus who we are. And to flip that into automotive, it's like what you expect, all the negative connotations that are stereotypical in automotive compared to like who these dealers actually are and who they're trying to be and the type of service and environment they're trying to provide. And then so if you actually watch those commercials that we did from that shoot, you wouldn't really catch on the Mac versus PC inspiration. It's more like holistic than actual practically applied. And then the other piece of it is how do we shoot this thing with limited camera setups, limited lighting setups, and only 2 actors, and set it up in a way where I can get anywhere from 5 to 15 commercials, depending on how efficient we are. Now we're provided that luxury because we're the client. I don't have to, a lot of times when you're selling a production like this, you have to define exactly what the deliverables are and then meet that. And you have to balance under promising and over delivering. And it's a pain in the ass when there's so many different moving parts. But because we're our own client, I can write some ideas, leave room for improvisation. And if things are flowing, I'm the one editing it too. So I'm writing it, I'm directing it, and I'm editing it. So I know how to make the most of my time because while I'm directing, I'm editing in my head to make the edit easier. While I'm writing, I'm thinking of what equipment, what actors, what staff we're going to contract out to shoot it so that I can make the most of each person's time, make the most of my own time, make the most of every little piece. So I think we ended up getting like 12 commercials out of that and covering everything from fixed ops to sales to extremely funny and silly, pushing the envelope concepts to more conservative concepts. So we kind of give the option to our client. And then the final piece of consideration is like these are paid ads that are disrupting what the end viewer is intending to watch, whether they're scrolling on their feed trying to find something they're interested in or about to watch a YouTube video and they have to wait the 5 seconds. They've seen 1,000 million ads and a lot of them are similar, especially in automotive. If you watch a sporting event, live event, and you're seeing the TV spots on that, every commercial kind of looks the same. And you don't even really remember what brand is being marketed anymore because it's just like really sexy new car driving at sunset with a good looking person smiling. And then you're like, what brand was that? It's not really an effective use.
Right.
So taking that into consideration, like how do we really grab their attention and get them to actually watch the whole thing and pay attention to it? And that's why we came up with this like ridiculous character that's in California. We have like the Cal Worthington over the top old school commercials was a big influence of that. So when it's the first setup of the commercial is executed in that like late 90s style, and it's an over the top like cowboy-esque character. In some cases he's an astronaut, some cases he's doing karate, whatever it is. So when you're scrolling or you see it in that feed, your reaction is, what the fuck is this? Like what is this? This is ridiculous. And then
it's so ridiculous.
Then when you juxtaposition that with the more approachable character that's like, this isn't who we are, you can trust us, we'll take care of you, the people are there to actually hear that message. And then when you see the branding at the last 3 seconds, it's comforting for a viewer to think like, oh, wow, this dealership doesn't take themselves that seriously. They understand that the idea I have in my head is this guy that's going to try to oversell me and be obnoxious, and they're aware of that stereotype and they're trying to comfort me and make me more approachable. I think that that really carries a lot of weight, and I think we have the data to prove that that's true. You know, the click through rates and the viewing rates on those ads compared to traditional sales or fixed ops ads is 10 times better.
I actually remember the numbers. The numbers were staggering. The amount of time viewed in comparison to a standard ad versus an ad that, I think you said it perfectly. The juxtaposition between like wild and then like actually what that experience is. If you saw these videos and you were a dealership and you were paying for this production, the reason why we don't pass this burden on production to you is because there are going to be concepts that might make you squirm a little bit, that are a little abstract, that are things that you would not probably build for yourself. And that's the point, because we want to stretch your mind as far as what's possible, what you can get out there and what type of content. But the numbers were pretty staggering on the content that Adam just talked about. The view rates were at a minimum of 30 to 40% higher than a standard video, in some cases up to 400% higher. The average view time, when you look at a percentage of completion, averages around 6 to 7 seconds. Here we're looking at anywhere between 13 and 15 seconds, so really double, and they were absolutely getting to the point where that message was transitioning. The conversion rates were significantly higher. I think it was 30 to 40% there on conversion rates as well. So we love YouTube. We use it from a conversion standpoint because we have the ability to sequence messaging. And so such an important distinction when we talk about how agencies build content. Right now, it's all right now, buy right now. And no, that's just not how marketing works. And you explain that as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, from our creative process, I want everyone to kind of get introduced to Adam. There's going to be a lot more stuff. We just picked up a pretty big client we're very excited about in Manhattan that we'll talk about and share Adam's kind of creative vision on how he put that together, which inevitably got us the business. It's a beautiful deck. It's a beautiful brand story. It's funny, but it's catchy, and there's just so much more cool things that we're going to be able to do. So hats off to you, buddy. I appreciate you being on the team. You're a badass individual, and there's just a lot more fun stuff. Well, I mean, I see you that way, so let's just leave it there. And yeah, I think we're going to be able to complete and achieve a lot of very unique things. So if you haven't checked us out, do check us out. We're going to start putting a lot more of our creative expertise on our site and in LinkedIn and other platforms so that we can kind of showcase that with everyone. I think you'll dig it. But unless there's anything else from you, Adam, I think we'll call that an episode. I like what we talked about, and I think it was all very good stuff.
My final thought on that case study we're talking about of that concept is, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but yeah, if we were to go to a dealer or another business and say, we're going to hire a comedic actor and put him in 8 different Halloween costumes and have him play 8 different characters, and he's going to make a bunch of improvised jokes, and we might get 5 commercials, we might get 12 commercials, and it's going to cost you 20 grand. There's no way we ever close that deal. There's no way. So just the business model that we've created is unique to be able to do those type of concepts and deliver the results we're delivering, because without the model that we've created, that type of work doesn't exist. And that's how we're able to differentiate ourselves from our competitors.
Big time. It's content on demand, but content you don't have to pay for. You pay a subscription fee. We'll provide everything that we need to provide. Why? Because if we don't kick ass for you, we don't have a job, right? It's as simple as that. I mean, economics 101. I mean, capitalism, call it whatever you want to call it. But it's made our agency fun. We do a lot of different things. And most people don't know, final point, most people don't know that the average client for us is getting anywhere between 20 and 30 unique cuts of video per month. All of that, Adam has also devised a way to not only get it in wide, but to get it in vertical and in square. Yeah. Right. So when in terms of video, we like to do some of this stuff because we've got it figured out. We really do. And it does really great work.
For sure. Thanks, man. Yeah. I think we've done like over 600 videos in the last 2 years. And I would
pure edits. Yeah. But we do thousands a month for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 600 concepts. Yeah.
Yeah.
That 1,200 or over. Yeah. Whatever. Sorry.
Diamond in the rough, folks. Come out and find us. We're there. This is Alex Matavosi and Adam Dominici, episode 8, Prophecy, Future Focused. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers.
Thank you.